de fazer orgia. Essa novinha que tá na volanda gosta de fazer orgia. Você tá em cima da piroca 24 horas por dia. Você levanta por cima da piroca. Essa novinha que tá na volanda gosta de fazer orgia. Fica sentando em cima da piroca 24 horas por dia. Ela te levanta por cima da piroca.
Welcome, folks. I am RedMonsterSC here with Canadian Maverick and EchoBit, and this is the Anzia Racing 2954 Scarlet Apex Duo Class Championship, the fourth out of the four classes today. Again, I'm RedMonsterSC, your host, best known for industrial content here within Star Citizen on Twitch and YouTube, and I'm joined by Canadian Maverick.
I'm Canadian Maverick. I do a lot of racing. I do a little bit of industrial stuff. And we have EchoBit.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm EchoBit from Anzia Racing, presiding officer, and also Speed Queen of Star Citizen. I love Zero-G racing and GrabLib racing, and I'm organizing the race here today. All the live stream content as well. And thank you so much for being here, Red and Maverick.
Yeah, of course. We've got a great race in for us today. This is the Scarlet Apex, a weapons-free ship combat race. It is our third year running this event. Now, in previous years, we had distortion weapons only. We've opened it up for all weapons free. And specifically for the turret and duo classes, we're actually running these in the Arena Commander private lobbies, which should help eliminate many of the server issues we've seen struggle with previous classes. We have done away with heats from previous years, and we have broken the race up into 4 separate classes. The first being Carrier Championships, which included, like you guys saw on the preview video, the Caterpillar with the Mirais. We had the Frigate Championship, which is the Hammerheads, Redeemers, Valkyries. We did Turret Championship earlier today. The 2-seater vehicles, we saw Hurricanes, a Vanguard Sentinel, even had a Hull C ripping around the track out there. And we're wrapping it up today with the Duo Championship. 2 single-seat vehicles. We have almost exclusively the Origin M50, but we have a couple of Saber Ravens in there as well. An interesting choice. This is a 60-minute endurance race where pilots and their wingmen are allowed to go weapons hot at any time after the race is started, and running through the Miner's Lament track in Arena Commander. Our prizes for today, let's go ahead and switch over there. For the first place finishers, each racer gets an Aegis Firebird, as well as the Salvage Skull Lounge Chair to decorate their hangar with.
For second place, both racers will get 1 subscriber gear or weapon, and also a lounge chair, so that's in their hangar and reminisce about their race.
Yep, and the third place finishers get each Skull Lounge chair, again, to relax after the race, brush the sweat off. And we've got quite a few racers coming in today. They are split into 2 lobbies. We'll go ahead and take a look at lobby number 1. Do you want to take us off?
First lobby, we have Omega Aerosports, represented by AC3 Nightmare. We have also the Sire Racing team, represented by Neojet and Salem Frost.
And then we have Punch Nomies, represented by Gerbo the Gnome and Quellstar, each in the Origin M50. And then my personal favorite, the Saber Raven Owners Club racing team, led up by Commander Tenna and Bobbit Oboso.
In the second lobby, we have Lens Nation Racing Team 1, represented by Andrew Me66 and Jung Plugga. We also have Lens Racing Team number 2, brought to you with Lens Nation and Mistrust.
And beyond that is Sanguis Luna, represented by FRESH001 and Jacodin, and the Spectre Security Contracting, represented by Vex Obscurum and Kingo J2142. And for our racing officiating staff, let's give a couple of shout outs here. You want to kick us off with our directors and race timers?
Yeah, our 2 race directors for today are Fendicle and Noise Maze. Fendicle's from TurboCorp and Noise Maze from Frontier Consolidated. Our race timers will be Draconis NZ and Fei Fei. Draconis from Southern Cross Alliance and Fei Fei from the Seatbelt.
Yeah, and we have our checkpoint officer LNDF from the Southern Cross Alliance, as well as Nox Vardine from the Grey Wardens. And we have our camera operators. You're going to be seeing these views throughout the race. This is Oleg Lime, currently featured from Turbo Corporation, as well as HMS Thunderwolf, representing the independent camera operators here. So we also have a backup camera operator, Blizzcole, who is in reserve, may be brought in depending on if Arena Commander cooperates. So as we can see, we've got the racers lining up on the grid here at the Miners Lament track, ensuring that everyone's set and ready to go. And I love to see that Saber Raven. Now, not the fastest ship, but it does have something unique. It's got a dual EMP package that could be something the M50s struggle with today.
Yeah, let's hope that they can get close enough to use them.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting mix. Everyone, aside from the Saber Raven crew, is running in the M50. It's a choice here, featuring 2 dual CF227 Badgers with a total DPS of 224, with a shield health pool that looks about 3,000 hit points. Comparing that to the Saber Raven, which has the Quarreler laser cannon at 656 DPS, a slight step up there. The same 3,000 health pool, but with the Saber Raven, they also have those dual Tromag burst generators that put out that EMP pulse rated at about 2,700 DPS, as long as they can get within range. Today's track is the Miner's Lament. It's going to be a tight quarters through an asteroid field and debris from an abandoned mining site, provided by the CIG developers. And yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting time watching these ships both put good times on the track, what we hope to see, as well put some fire into their competitors. So what do you think about our race so far? We saw the turret class earlier today. How do you think it's going to contrast with our duo class now?
Well, I think unfortunately we're not going to see as much gunfire happen because, obviously you have to go forward in order to complete the track. But I think it's still going to be interesting with the Saber Ravens and the smaller health pool of like both the M50 and the Raven compared to the turret classes.
Yeah, that was one of the factors we saw earlier with the turret class. The ship that's in the rear does have a distinct advantage because the pilot's able to get weapons on. That's going to be more pronounced now since you are running solo, no opportunity to turn around necessarily. One other note about this race is they are restricted to SCM speeds, so no switching into quantum travel. We do expect to see a weapons hot event here. The M50 doing fairly well in zero gravity compared to similar ships, and got some great views here. Thank you, Oleg, for putting that together. See those weapons on the underside.
ちゃんと thing I want to bring up actually is there's an opportunity here in Joy Championship, and I really wonder who might have thought of this or been practicing it, because they're single seat fighters and they're a team of 2, and sometimes a team of 4, like you saw Lens Nation, because you're allowed to bring 2 teams per org. They could run as a pack, and I really wonder if anyone is gonna execute some pack tactics and go around the track together, defending each other but also attacking things in their way. I am really curious to see if anyone has that strategy.
Yeah, we did see Quillsar and Gerbo the Gnome, those folks with Team Punch Buggy and Team was it Punch Gnomes and Punch Buggies. We saw them close together, maybe not engaging as aggressively as they might have. But yeah, with 4 racing vehicles out there for Lens Nation, they could definitely have an advantage when it comes to pack tactics.
Am I seeing this correctly? Ace Nightmares and Razor. Looks like.
Oh,
Yeah. Now
You have
that
a
is
couple
within the
vehicle swaps.
rules. The regulations say you are allowed to swap to another ship that is within your racing class, and the Razor is legal. So they might have just had a last minute change and they had the Razor available, so they're going with that. Yeah, curious to see how it plays out. Both the Razor and M50 perform very similar.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if they've chosen the base Razor or if they go with the EX Stealth Fighter, or if they go with the LX for the racing competition. My bet is on the LX.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
With that blaze gun, that'll be the base Razor. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not too sure the difference of razors. So it'd be interesting. In 0G, I think the base Razor is a little bit better because I think the
That's
Mavs
true.
actually
It is.
help out a little bit more than
They have
the
a
LX
little
did.
bit more power. And the LX is made to be more endurance, so a little bit more efficient on its thrusters, and it can go longer. But they don't have to race that intensively in 0G. It's actually like there's not drag working against you to induce more thruster. In a vacuum in 0G, it's actually very efficient to use these thrusters, and you don't run out of fuel that often in space. So yeah, you might find that in your general gameplay as well, that when you are in space, you barely burn any fuel. Yeah. We'll see if that strategy plays out.
And we're looking at that beautiful Saber Raven. Now, one of our lobbies, I believe that was lobby 2, had to restart. One of the players was having some technical difficulties, so we want to get them back in. We are waiting on that party relaunch, but it looks like they're forming. And yeah, I'm curious to see how Commander Tenna and Bobbit are able to duo with these EMPs, since one hit will take shields out as long as you're within range, and a second hit very well could disable a ship, leave you dead stick on a very tight track that could spell the end. Now, what is the protocol, EchoBit, for when a racer is when their ship is destroyed? How do they rejoin the race, and what sort of penalties might they face?
Yes, so as we mentioned earlier, this is an arena commander race, so respawning is not that punishing, but we require racers to rejoin on checkpoint 1, and that means they have to restart their whole lap. So even if they are on the last checkpoint, they've got to go through checkpoint 1 again to continue their race. And that's so there's no funky things happen with the race timing. They don't confuse the race timers. So yes, there is at least some significant punishment to being killed or crashing. They will have to restart that lap all over again.
Gotcha. So there is some advantage to eliminating your competition. Although if you're coming up on the finish line, you might want to get those shots in first before they cross over. Otherwise, the penalty is a lot more negated. We saw a pretty consistent performance between our vehicles in the turret class. All those Hurricanes coming in between 18 to 21 laps. I expect to see a little bit shorter lap times here with the single seat fighters, and possibly up to a 25 player or 25 laps within the 60 minutes of regulation. So We can
Yeah,
get
it's gonna
updates
be
on.
interesting.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's gonna be interesting to see the difference, like on how many more laps these guys are going to be able to do, because they are definitely going to be able to do more. They are in faster ships, a little bit more nimble, but yeah.
So they're still working with Lobby 1. Getting Lobby 1 is good. Lobby 2 with multiple game crashes. So we'll continue to bring this in. This is the spirit of Alpha. But really, the perseverance in the racing community to overcome these technical difficulties we see in an early access game like this, to put together what's going to be a fantastic race. We've already seen it with the carrier class, with the frigate class, earlier today with the turret class. I'm excited about that. What have been some of your highlights you've enjoyed the most so far, Maverick?
I definitely like personally I like the carrier class a lot because, well, I was commentating on it, so I was able to pay attention a lot to it. I actually stepped in for a little bit of security for the turret class. But yeah, it's been pretty fun seeing everybody get together and shoot each other up in the name of fun and deal with all the bugs that this great game has to give us.
Yeah. A great question coming in from chat. What's the procedure for a disconnect during the race? Generally, is that something a racer would have to rejoin, or couldn't they rejoin these custom lobbies, or would that be a complete reform?
They can. So, they are able to rejoin on the lobby leader, and they will have all added them to their friends list, so that is completely possible. And that was actually a feature that was added into custom lobbies as sort of like a last minute part of the development, and I'm so glad it's there because it just makes getting back into the race so much easier. Not as punishing as the Persistent Universe. They would just relaunch the game, rejoin the lobby, and then away they go through checkpoint 1, and they can keep going straight away. No fluffing around with hospitals or grim hacks and flying themselves all the way out there. They just get back in and go. That is a true benefit of Arena Commander.
Yeah. And yeah, the speed and turnaround time we saw as a major factor during the frigate class. Some of those vehicles after a destruction were taking 20 minutes plus to get back, both between issues at the Grimhex elevators as well as just even respawning, having that type of a difficulty. So those are going to be things we want to keep an eye out for.
One thing I do want to talk about with this race is that there is a Crux Star Award in Anza Racing, which is the highest achievement you can earn in community racing and Anza Racing itself. And out here today is first place champion of the Crux Cup this year, Fresh, who beat all the Heralds. And they're out here today just trying to get a good position for themselves. If they manage to do that, then they will have beaten all of our ship races for this year for the Persistent Universe, and that will be proof enough to earn this A-Crux Star. It's a yearly award that we give out, so good luck to Team Sangus. Good to see you back here, Fresh, and Jacket and their team member as well. Also, won in that Crux Cup team too, so both of them have a shot at it today. So good luck to you both.
Best of luck. And I also did want to give a quick shout out. We couldn't be here without the support of Echo Bit and the Anzia Racing community. Make sure you guys support them. Exclamation point merch in chat. Buy yourself some fantastic shirts, other gear that's customizable for yourself, your gamer tag, whatever number you want to put on there. I kind of have the mirror of that Saber Raven with number 63 on my shoulder up here. What number do you pick, Maverick?
I picked 17. When I used to play hockey, I was one of like a bunch of different numbers, but they ended up by only being either 1, 17, 7, or 35. So I just picked 17 because I figured it would fit best.
Nice. Yeah, so we've got a confirmation. There's a good launch. That is from lobby number 2. So just waiting on them to get lined up, and we see beautiful views of these ships as they can come in here.
Oh, one of the Lens Nation team members have switched to a Hornet. It's a very interesting play. They
John
were
Plunga
marked
with
as
the
an
Hornet.
M50, so we'll see how that works out.
Definitely more variety in chips than initially thought. We thought that there was only going to be M50s and 2 Ravens. It turns out there's
Yeah,
a little bit more.
good to see that variety. Of course, the Ravens, I think, are still they're 1 shy on that lobby. There's 7 racers within that group, and of course our racing officials taking up the remaining slots. 8 racers in the other lobby that are to keep forming up now. With a Hornet, do we see multiples there? We're looking here at Neojet and Salem Frost.
And we got word from
within
Race
the lobby
Direction.
one.
They are starting in 30 seconds if they can. They are
Oh.
good to go.
There we go.
Look at that.
Green
Right on
flag
time.
called, and already someone destroys right off of the bat. It's important when you start the race that you aim for the openings. Hopefully, get a better understanding who that was, maybe what contributed to it. So we are green flag and go. Someone's race started off rough. The fortunate thing is that won't cost them too much, maybe half a lap. We see FRESH001. Oh, Quelsar crashed into Salem right off of the bat. So it looks like a combined elimination. That is Quelsar from Punch Nomies and Salem from Sire Racing in Lobby 1. We see Commander Tenna triggering up those EMPs, ready for someone to get close enough to make use of it. It's a nice visual representation to get the heck out of their way. Jung Plunga, one of the Hornets we saw earlier, crashing, ship destroyed in this area. So now we see Salem and Quelsar coming back up. Lens Nation also suffering some destruction here at Miner's Lament.
Looks like we
Those
got some
splitting-
fire going on there too. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, we see Commander Tenna here. We'll see the exchange of ordnance. Trying to make AC3 Nightmare work for it. And Queesat's giving a quick shout out for the Saber Ravens. A very
Let's
dedicated
go,
crew of
Ravens.
fans. One I'm very proud to help represent. So. And beautiful look as that turns the corner.
Yeah, the profile of the Raven, there's not much else that beats it. It's very distinguishable. We got our first lap done by Fresh here. 1 minute 57 seconds. Seems to be about twice as fast as what we were getting at the turret.
Yeah, we were getting close to the 2 minute 59, 3 minutes 6 seconds. Oh, and here's Bobet with the EMPs all fired up. So we have our first 4, and they are right on top of each other. FRESH001, Gerbo the Gnome, Jacoden, and Neojet between 1 minute 57, 2 minutes and 1 second, and just right on top of each other. Pretty evenly split between between lobbies 1 and 2. Kingoj, Vex Obscurum, and AC3 Nightmare all with the ship destroyed. So I think we're going to see a lot more ships eliminated here today within this duo class. Certainly more ships per lobby and more opportunities to take fire.
Yeah, it looks like I was completely wrong with my prediction that there's going to be less going on. It's either we haven't seen as many explosions and stuff, but I guess taking those corners and not trying to also lay down fire has definitely not worked out for some people.
Yeah, and you see the difference in speed here. We got our next M50s coming in. We had Quelsar at 2 minutes 48, Andrew Me6 with 3 minutes 2, Mistrust at 3 minutes 3 seconds. Of course, a lot of these racers, the folks that had the very early crashes, and you watch this camera operator threading the needle behind Neojet. It's going to be a struggle for our camera operators to maintain pace. Fresh with ship destruction at Miner's Lament, so on the first lap. trying to maintain that lead. We'll see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I foresee our camera operators just in general for this race probably staying a little bit further back, both for the Saber Raven 8 EMPs because they're just as susceptible to them as anybody else, and like they have to keep up somehow. So it might be a little bit more in their benefit to kind of stay back and kind of take these corners easy as we get a shot of Oleg Lime giving us a right behind Neojet and Commander there.
It looks like Quelsar with another ship destruction. You see Commander Tenna taking his shots over at Neojet, wrapping around those turns. Yawing through here is an interesting choice. Obviously, the pitch and roll being a little bit more of the typical racers maneuvering. And AC3 Nightmare with a second ship destruction. I do not know if AC3 Nightmare has put up a lap yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has yet.
The most dangerous thing to the racers is themselves so far. So that is a true testament to how dangerous racing single-seat fighters and racing ships is in a combat race around the hardest track in the game.
Yep, and Salem Frost also with another ship destruction. This is going to be the real separator here. We've got 11 racers on the board. Looks like we just had Jordan from our redacted group here at 5 minutes 27 seconds. And yeah, Commander Tenna in 8th place with the Saber Raven. Bobbit not quite checked in yet either, so we'll see how they're able to manage. And again, Salem Frost getting knocked out. Quelsar with another ship destruction. He's going for the high score in number of vehicles pulled today. It looks like go big or go home, and he's not going home with ships left in his hangar.
Yeah, speaking of destruction, it looks like that one destruction from FRESH001 has put him back from 1st all the way down to 6th.
As we see Gerbo the Gnome from Team Punch Buggies checking in for his 3rd lap, just about 5 seconds ahead of Jacoden from Sanguis Luna. Both credited with the M50s. We'll see who's swapped vehicles within the race setup here. As we watch this Saber Raven come across with Commander Tenna in view. Beautiful looking ship there. And AC3 Nightmare, another ship destruction at Miner's Lament. That is number 3 for him as well. He and Quelsar are going to be working on that. And Fetical, Race Director says there is some invisible geometry out on the track. So that's going to be something we'll need one of the race officials to eventually go out and mark, keep the area clear. So invisible geometry to be avoided.
I feel like that might be AC3's nightmare right now. It might be happening to them. They might be continuously just crashing into that area by accident.
Yeah,
They
that
still
is
haven't
going to be
completed the
as
lap.
we watch one of those M50s paint themselves on the side of an asteroid. That divot looks like me. Get a update on who that was that just had a ship destruction. And that was Lens Nation, who had a blackout as he was turning a little too hard. Salem Frost also with a ship destruction. And Quelsar, another one, probably getting some of this invisible geometry. No check-in yet from Bobbit with the Saber Raven group. We see folks turning in for their 3rd lap. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Bobbit say ship destroyed, so oh, our camera definitely just ran into that Connie.
There's a Connie out there. Watch out for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Looks like our Constellation official is okay. But we'll see Oleg back in a second.
All right. Continue to watch here now. No check-in yet from AC3 Nightmare or Bobbit, so we'll need to see where they have ended up at, if we've had a client crash potentially. working on rejoining. Hopefully nothing too serious. Oleg crashed into Fedicall. That is the official. Yeah, Gerbo the Gnome with a ship destruction, who was up in first place with 4 laps. Jacodan and Neojet not too far behind. That's 5 seconds and 14 seconds separation between those. So we'll expect to see Jacodan and Neojet take a little bit of a lead, seeing how far Gerbo is able to recover.
We're seeing even our camera operators here redding out, blacking out. It's not only just trying to manage your turn here, it's also trying to manage the G's that your character's taking through these turns.
Yeah.
You'll black out real easy.
And it is quite the challenge for our camera operators to maintain tracking on these vehicles. Junga Plunga with a ship destruction. And as well, we've got Lens Nation with another ship destruction. We see Bobbit coming around here, so they've rejoined. Hopefully get a couple of laps logged. That may also be an off-course trying to recall what positioning and pylons to bounce through. Invisible asteroids are the real reapers today. That's what we've got updated. So Gerbo the Gnome also with a ship destruction. Another one going for more of those. They are struggling with some invisible asteroids. That's something we hadn't seen during the turret class. Maybe with a little bit faster speeds we're getting out of these ships, they may be taking a little wider turns outside that geometry. Risky camera angle here from Oleg as he gets close enough to really tickle that EMP.
How far does the EMP go out there, Red?
From what I had seen, it's about a 750 meter range. So you've got to be really close, and it does disperse from about, I think, 250 to 750. It's not one that I actually use in combat very often. It's more of a showpiece, and since EMPs themselves have been in a bit of an odd place for the last few years. When it first came out, it was quite dangerous with I think a 2 kilometer range. And you'd be able to go in through the pirate swarm and pretty handily take everything out just through vehicle disables. Bobbit with a ship destruction there on the Miner's Lament. So first update there, crashing into an asteroid.
Still, unfortunately, hasn't completed a last. Same with the AC3 Nightmare. Doesn't look like they.
Yeah. And I want to believe maybe there is something going on with the scorecard, since both of these racers we haven't had much of an update on. We'll go ahead and cue in a question for our race officials. And we see here Commander Tenna with that Saber Raven. Oleg's giving them lots of
We got a
love. It's
bullet
very
lap
unique
just
ship.
then.
Yay!
It must have
All
been
right.
a brutal asteroid they just couldn't get past.
Yeah. And we see Commander Tenna going after Quelsar. The higher DPS of that Saber Raven has got to be something to keep these M50s worried, and the Misk Razors. It'll tear your shields up pretty quickly, and then getting knocked out with the EMP. You need to keep your distance for sure. King Oj with ship destruction here on Miner's Lament. We're officially 12, almost 13 minutes into the race. Getting a look, we've got 6 laps in from Jacodan, fastest lap at about 2 minutes. So should be very close to, I want to say, about 30, maybe 29, 30 laps through the entire race for the top positions.
Fresh also clawing their way back up. Jacodan, their teammate, carrying their laps while they had that initial crash. So keep it up, Sanguis.
Yeah, and Vex Obscurum with ship destruction as well. Seeing some great views here of King Oj and Commander Tenna, Neojet. They're being tracked and overtaken. And our camera operators nearly blacking out as they try and maintain view. It's deceptive the amount of speed that's involved in these tracks here. There we see Bobbit with Neojet. Neojet's coming in for the overtake. I wonder if Bobbit is aware and makes any sort of adjustment here for combat. AC3 Nightmare with the ship destruction.
Yeah, AC3 struggling to get around the course. That invisible asteroid. Yeah, because you can't see it. It's really hard to get past it if you don't know where. So hopefully race direction is giving them advice on getting around that invisible asteroid so they can place their first lap. You got this, AC3. It's just Arena Commander. We can respawn and get back in there.
Yeah, we do see them on screen there. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what the communication situation is for the racers and the race officials?
Yeah, so right now we've got the setup of race director who will be calling any judgment that needs to be made, and checkpoint officers which are observing all of these races going around the track, making sure they're following Linus Lament correctly, and also staying in SCM mode, which they should be at all times, because this is a combat race. So not only do they have to watch all of that and manage all of that, they work together with the race timers as well to present all of the information you're seeing in the stream overlay today. Just an incredible team effort from everyone.
And we do see another ship destruction from AC3 Nightmare, who has not been able to complete the asteroid here. That yeah, I would say that's a personal vendetta. I have not seen a rock go after someone like that since, well, most of my mining days in Quantanium. So AC3 Nightmare struggling with the terrain here. Rather unfriendly circumstances. And we see Kingo and LNDP, one of our checkpoint officers here. Was Blizzcole the backup. Threading the needle there as we turn away. Catch up with Gerbo the Gnome.
He has set the fastest lap so far at 1 minute 57 seconds and 7 hundredths of a second.
Yeah, that leads Fresh, I believe, who had the next fastest at 157.9. So just a fraction of a hair ahead there. Jacoden with a 7th lap, and we just saw Fresh with a 7th lap as well. Jacoden most recently checking in at 14:49. So about 1 lap ahead, Jacoden from Sanguis Luna on Lobby 2. Fresh also in Lobby 2. Gerbo the Gnome in 3rd place with 7 laps, just checking in momentarily there. So looks like Jacoden's got a 1 lap lead right now if he can maintain it. And Mistrust with the ship destruction on Miner's Lament. Mistrust, of course, coming in on position number 4 right now, was working on their 6th lap. So need to catch up there. Again, Commander Tenna with the EMPs hot and ready to go. Four laps completed for Commander Tenna with the Saber Raven. The fastest lap time there, 4 minutes and 6 seconds. You see that EMP discharge. Little barrel roll there from Oleg as he shakes off the effects. So 4 minutes, 6 seconds, about half the speed compared to these smaller ships. So
Fresh moving into 2nd place. Team Sanguis now in the 1st and 2nd position. What a comeback. Impressive work.
And you
Just to
see
show-
Neojet with the rapid overtake there. A couple of shots hit. So good work there, Commander Tenna.
Just shows you with Fresh going from 1st down to 6th and now back up to 2nd. Still anybody's race. There is 40 minutes left. They can die a lot.
Yep, and we got Andrew Me6 and Mistrust. Of course, Mistrust from Lens Nation 2. Andrew Me6 from Lens Nation 1. Maybe why we don't see as much of the exchange of fire between these two racers. And we see ourselves Neojet. This coming in from Lobby 1. threading the needle through this track. This is a great track to get out and really challenge yourself with. If you haven't fired up Arena Commander and put your favorite little light fighter in there, it's a great one to get out and start learning through. You see AC3 Nightmare coming across the view here. We had Salem Frost with a Ship Destruction, just a report from AC3 with another Ship Destruction, as well as Mistrust. So 3 folks all together. Get some high scores up here. Lens Nation and Vex Obscurum coming through. Lens Nation, is that is he in a
Lens Nation Racing?
yeah?
Very
Trying
close
to get a
together.
view on the ship here. They are definitely like Vex Obscurum with the quick overtake.
Might not be able to just see it, but it doesn't look like they didn't fight much over that, even though they were side by side.
Oleg having a
Yep,
much
if you're
easier
too busy
time
turning,
tracking the Saber Raven.
sometimes. Exactly.
And a quick shout out over in Twitch chat. Thank you, Dirk, for the 5 gifted subs, helping support
Thank you,
the
Dirk.
MGO racing community and getting us into a level 2 hype train, as well as Midfield Marauder with the Prime sub. Thanks for driving that, folks. Commander 10 making his rounds.
Oh, here comes new fastest lap. That is
King
hot,
goes
if
1
it is
minute
real.
11.
That seems a little fast, but that's very
That's
impressive.
got to be just for the books. There might have been a missed lap there, and race timing is catching up.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. Missed lap with a fast loop there. But we're looking now, we're 21 minutes in. We got 9 laps in from Jacoden, Fresh, and Gerbo the Gnome. 8 laps each from Neojet and Andrew. 7 laps with Vex Obscurum and Quelsar, who just completed another check-in. Mistrust with 6 laps. Kingoj and Commander Tenna with 5 laps apiece. Junga Plunga, Lens Nation with 4 laps, Bobbit with 2 laps, and Salem Frost with a single lap. We have not seen a lap check-in from Salem Frost since the 6.5 minute mark, so really just getting eaten up by those asteroids.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened to AC3 Nightmare other than that last destruction. Haven't really seen much from them. Hopefully they didn't give up, because, you know, it could be their race still. If everybody keeps on hitting that asteroid, then they miss it. Luck can turn their way.
We still admire the perseverance. Get back in there, AC3. Get a lap down. That is still an achievement on
And-
such a difficult racetrack.
And a day for achievements from AC3 Nightmare as well, who was piloting the Hull C during the turret race from earlier today. So obviously out there making an impact in whatever ways he can, and in many varied ways of the word impact. Sorry, I had to go there. But we'll keep an eye out on that result, see if AC3 continues, or if we do see Lens Nation with the ship destruction, or if the personal vendetta of said asteroid has won here. Sometimes you do just get Star Citizen, right?
Yeah. I usually only do get Star Citizen when I'm trying to show somebody something
There we go.
specific.
AC3, just a couple of checkpoints to go. You can do it, buddy.
You can do it.
We see him out there, and then of course Quelsar up there. Quelsar coming in 7th place. AC3 Nightmare working on the first lap check-in. So I got some margin to pull in. We're about 23 minutes into the race.
Oh, there we go.
1/3. There we have it officially.
We got an
AC3
AC
Nightmare.
lap. Good job.
23 minutes in. Congratulations, and immediately into the pylon.
Hey, once
much
enough and
excitement.
done.
Finish the
I
lap,
don't
get
know.
excited, crash into an asteroid. Seems like a great idea.
That seemed like a celebratory collision there. Finally got one in. Could be a issue with blacking out as well, pulling an excessive G's as you run around the course here. So, for our current leaderboard, do you wanna give us a rundown? Who's in what positions?
Yeah. We got Jacketin Sanguis Luna first place on lap 11. FRESH001 in second place on lap 10. Only just under a minute behind Jacketin. Then we got Gerbil the Gnome for Punch Nomies in third place on lap 10. And Neojet in an M50 for Sire Racing on lap 10 as well. They all look pretty close together since their last check-in, so it still could be anybody's. Just Jacketin up one lap versus the other three.
Yeah, as we close in on the halfway point through this race, obviously there is a little bit of separation between these racers. We've got several in the 8+ lap range. I think those, as long as they maintain current performance, love seeing those missiles come across as well. That's somebody with some real aggression. As we get through the halfway point, it's really about making sure that you maintain your lines within the race. You have a clean race. You avoid as much fire as you can, and maybe take an opportunity or two to eliminate some competition to get yourself a little bit of an edge on that leaderboard. 8, 9, 10, 11 laps. I think they're all in the running now, just depending on who's able to run it the cleanest. And maybe some of those Lens Nation teams decide again to start colluding together as they work on eliminating some of the other competition. So I love that we get the up close and personal view of AC3 Nightmare as they are working on lap number 2 with great success. And
yeah, it looks like they
Neojet-
might have got the hang of it now, and then Neojet just flies past them.
And I wonder if it had something to do with maybe a ship specific issue. Those could have been the type of thing you run into, but obviously we'd like to hear more once the race is over. Let AC3 Nightmare focus on finishing strong, getting the best turnout he can.
Got two racers coming really close together here. Vex Obscura and Junga Plunga. I don't know how to say that.
And
Junglunga.
very close shave. Junglunga, Vex Obscurum, Lens Nation up in front. Maybe a little bit of an overtake coming, and maybe some exchange of fire. Love to trade some paint. I've got up on
Just
the
for
other
the
monitor here.
audience's knowledge, Lens Nation and Junglunga, that is a father and son team. So they've been racing together for a couple of our competitions now. And it's just lovely to see a father and son playing together and racing together too. It's like, yeah, a first for our racers having such a family team together. So, yeah, I really love to see it.
What an awesome story there, and of course, Lens Nation doing some great artwork for the Star Citizen community. Working with myself and Croncy for some community events we've got going on. What an opportunity to get out there, race as a group, and in such close quarters, father and son.
Yeah, I wonder what lap they agreed on to actually start shooting each other, because I wouldn't let my dad get away with not getting shot at the whole entire race.
We did see a ship potentially explode there. Andrew Me 6, Jungle Plunga, Vex Obscurum. That could have been Lens Nation. I have not seen him in this group right now.
It is.
And that is
There
indeed.
was Lens.
So looks like it was probably what you say? Lap 5.
Yeah.
Jungle Plunga coming in with I'm not sure if Jungle Plunga was the one who eliminated there, but
Oh. Maybe double there. Jacket comes around the corner and Jungpunga was getting lit up by Kingo, yeah.
Jungle Plung and Kingo likely eliminated each other. We got Jacoden coming out. And we are closing in on the 30-minute mark. Just 55 seconds left until then. Our backup cameras there as they thread the needle through this portion of a station, isn't it? Echo Bit?
It is. It's a station and docking collar inside there, wedged in there, and then there's a second asteroid they go through after that, which has a docking collar again. And yeah, like most people say, it's the keyhole of the track. It's the smallest checkpoint on the track. So, and we saw the whole sea go through that earlier. I'm actually amazed that they could fit in there, but I couldn't do it with the spindles extended. So, yeah, very, very difficult even with these single seat craft because they're doing it at twice the speed of any other ship. So, really well done. You can see the practice of these races come together, and all their hard work on display here for you all today. So yeah, give a cheer for your favorite team in chat. Tell us who you're rooting for.
Yep, and we see Kingo taking some shots here at Junga Plunga. They are trading back and forth. That is going to be rough. You either just relent a little bit, let them come out and take the lead so you can return fire there and get on their 6, or do your best just to get out of the firing line. We did have a Vex Obscurum there with a ship destruction. Just a quick update there. Vex Obscurum was in 7th place. Jacoden up with the 14th lap. Now Commander Tenna with lap number 7, so running pretty good. And we did see that was Junga. It looks like it was just limited by Kingo.
Yeah, just looking at some of the times here for first, there's a pretty large gap, about a minute in between Jacket and Fresh. Just waiting for Gerbil the Gnome to come through here and get another update for the top 3.
And we see that Commander Tenna and Bobbit both with the Saber Ravens tuning up. Was that Quelsar up in front of them? But both with the Saber Ravens and the heavy firepower those deliver coming through that keyhole together.
We lost Tenna to that keyhole there, but Bobbit's still going.
All right, Bobbit, of course, coming in with 4th lap. Commander Tenna falling victim to the keyhole. 3 players now with lap number 14 secured. We are past the 30-minute mark with 28 minutes left per race. Yeah, this is a very technical track. Being in 0G, the amount of antennas, other debris, asteroids, it can be very disorienting if it's not a track you're familiar with. Getting in there, learning how to do it wrong a few times. I know you see the half wing missing on Bobbit as he goes around this corner. Quite an interesting Stingray-like profile. And Bobbit with the lap checkpoint. That's a complete lap number 5. So very easy to get yourself disoriented, potentially lose track of where things are directed. Koden and looks like Gerbo the Gnome both ship destructions here.
Good chance for Fresh to take up back the lead. Get a little bit ahead too. Yeah, this track's very disoriented, especially when you're also trying to manage the G-force there. You tend to roll a little bit to make sure to like spread the load so it's not only negative or positive G's as you go around these corners.
Yeah.
And they combat at the same time.
Blackouts, low and red outs, depending on if it's a positive or negative. Trying to keep your character visible. Also balancing that power distribution, since you're going to be using a lot of boost to try and keep your speeds up, but also want to maintain a little bit of that for the weapons when you get close here. See Mistrust, and it looks like Jacoden right on top of each other in that corner. I'm expecting them to be trading fire pretty aggressively. Blizzcole, our backup camera, of course, getting out of the way from Lens Nation and Kingo. Now, Lens Nation maybe having an opportunity to get some payback against Kingo for eliminating. Oh no!
Oh,
Kingo
looks like
get
Kingo
Lens Nation.
killed Lens Nation.
Yeah, was that a father-son elimination? Kind of ruthless, if you ask me.
So Kingo is part of our security team, and them proving themselves deadly.
Both camera
Incredible.
operators
And both
eliminated
cameras
at the same
respawning
time.
right now. Wow, what are the chances?
Move back in for Junga Plunga. Now, do we know which vehicles the camera operators are? I know, I believe this is Thunderwolf who's running the Anvil Arrow.
Yeah,
And I think
saw.
Furious are like...
Yeah.
I believe last week we saw with the MISC, what is it? The Reliant Tano? That's supposed to be
Yeah, I
the
think so.
media vehicle. I may have seen one of those.
Oh yeah, that is a Oleg classic. He loves that thing.
Look at this group of 4. Junga Plunga, Andrew Me6, Blizzcole with our backup camera, Dakotan, Mistrust, a lot of folks in here. Andrew Me6, fantastic screenshots that I posted, I think, seen featured by the CIG community team on several occasions. Also a member of the Saber Raven Owners Club, but choosing to race instead with the Lens Nation Racing crew today. My little plug to recruit out for another couple of racers on the Saber.
He's like jacket in there, just dodged a missile volley from behind right as he turned that corner.
Oh yeah, great timing there to avoid it. Dakotan, Andrew Me6, Mistrust, all 3 coming in for this ring segment. Like I said before, this is a deceptive with the speed that these racers are going after. Flaring through that keyhole segment, that's probably a wise choice, avoiding any missiles, because if a missile gets in behind you and catches up during that keyhole, that could very well spell your end.
Not only that,
AC3
it
Nightmare.
removes... Sorry.
Go ahead.
It removes the targeting so that if somebody's target locked on you trying to go through that keyhole, they lose all their HUD information about where they're aiming.
Yeah. AC3 Nightmare with the 3rd lap completed, so I was able to figure out the issues with the vindictive asteroid and get themselves a few more laps into the official times here. Salem Frost with a single lap recorded back at minute 6.5. I don't know if we've seen Salem Frost out there, if he's had a client crash and unable to recover, but that does kind of balance out. I think Salem Frost was on our lobby 1, so only 6 racers in that group currently. FRESH001 with the Miner's Lament ship destruction on his 17th lap. So Dakotan up in front on lap 17. They were about 6 seconds separation, both within lobby 2 on that 17th lap. Gerbo the Gnome on lap number 16. Coming up, fastest lap's been a minute 57. Neojet on lap 14 or 15. Just checking in most recently. Quelsar number 5 place, 14 laps completed. Ben Mistrust with Lens Nation Racing 2 and Vex Obscurum both with 13 laps completed. Andrew Me6 with 12 laps, and then Vander Tanna from the Saber Raven Club, 8 laps completed. Junga Plunga, Lens Nation, Kingo, and Bobbit coming up behind between 8 and 6 laps, as well as AC3 Nightmare completing 4th lap just a bit ago. We come up on the 20-minute remaining mark, 2/3 of the way through the race. We're up at 17 laps for the majority of our folks. What do you think is going to be the change up here at the top? What are the main keys that you're going to want to look out for?
Well, I definitely see that that a couple of them have had to intentionally crash for fuel purposes. So like that rejoin process is definitely going to benefit them if they pick the right place, or if they just ended up by running out of fuel and then trying to run into an asteroid at an unopportune moment. Might have kind of shaken up a little bit of the leaderboard there. But I think the race in between the top three and maybe even Neojet in fourth place could pretty much go either way. Who knows? Maybe even the top 10 could still be up there because they're not too far behind. But anything can happen.
Yeah. And yeah, that is a good call out. The fuel capacity to run the entire 1 hour race from these events isn't always there. So, choosing the right time. That could have been what we saw with AC3 Nightmare as he got the vehicle through the finish line and crashed right into that pylon. Or maybe, you know what, it was just because he knew he was on the front page here, ready to get going. Mistrust coming in. Up to lap number 18 completed.
Yep, FRESH001 only 41 seconds behind Jacketin.
And we see Commander Tenna and Bobbit both trying to recreate the promo video for the Scarlet Apex with the dueling Ravens. Wellstar with another ship destruction. We see Bobbit continually missing part of that wing. So
Also important destruction there. Jacketin got destroyed, so Fresh could take the lead here.
yeah. 18 laps, 17 laps for positions 3 and 4, and then we got 15, 14, 14, and 12. So keep an eye on any new updates. Again, great work on the cameras, both from HMS Thunderwolf as well as Oleg Live. We've been bouncing back and forth through today. Junga Plunga and Vex Obscurum as they complete each of their laps. Junga Plunga coming in with the 9th completed lap, and we are officially under 20 minutes left to race, 2/3 of the way done. And yeah, still seeing up at the top there. 3 to, basically the first 7 positions all within 3 laps of each other. And FRESH001 just completing lap number 19. We'll see how close Jacoden and Gerbo the Gnome are for 2nd and 3rd place. We do see King OJ, 2142 with the ship destruction. So Fresh with the come from behind there after getting put back, I think, down to 3rd place potentially. We've got Jacoden and Gerbo the Gnome coming in 2nd, 3rd. Neojet coming in slightly behind there. But we do expect Jacoden to turn in another lap here very quickly. As we do see that pop in, Jacoden, it's about 40 seconds behind currently. So we've got some margin there, 41.9. And Vex Obscurum with the ship destruction here in Miner's Lament at that 6th place position.
Crashed the desktop. That's unfortunate. Hopefully you can get back in.
Oof, that is rough. Both Vex Obscurum and King OJ 2142 with crash of desktops there. And again, the Saber Raven Club, we see both Commander Santa and Bobbit pairing up here. We'll see with some combat. Looking at top race times, it looks like Bobbit was able to get 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Commander Tenna at 3 minutes 21 seconds for fastest race time. So certainly bridging that gap a little bit. Our typical typical lap time for the M50 has been about 1 minute 57 seconds.
Yeah,
looping around the asteroid here.
Fresh is giving it all right now. He's only, from his fastest lap time, his last lap is only 3 seconds off. It's given really close consistently to that 2-minute mark with all his laps.
Yeah, really consistent laps. I think running clean lines helps a significant amount, and yeah, obviously getting some support from the other crews there. He's got Jacoden also representing Sanguis Luna, so obviously we're seeing some combat happening between those folks. Great looking ship there. Oleg knows where to point the camera at. And we do see AC3 Nightmare with a crash to desktop. Is that...
Those are different. Yeah. Those are a little bit of crash to desktop from both servers, so...
Yes, we had King OJ, Vex Obscurum, both. So those are with our Spectre security contracting from Lobby 2. AC3 Nightmare is in Lobby 1, so maybe having some crossover impact there. Or it could just be that the race director forgot to clear the comment from the last notice.
Yeah.
And again, a quick call out for all of our racing officials while we're enjoying the views provided by HMS Thunderwolf and Oleg Lime. We want to also give a shout out for Fetacall and Noise Maze, our two race directors that are keeping things managed, giving us alerts as far as what's happening in each of these racing lobbies. Also want to give a quick shout out for Draconis and Z and Feifei that are our official race timers, marking these races and ensuring all the lap counts are updated. Our checkpoint officers LNDF and Nox Vardine, as well as the backup camera operator there, Blizzcole. And did get an update. The AC3 was not a crash to desktop, but a comment error. So AC3 should be back around in. And we've got 13 minutes left to race. Do have a little bit of separation coming in. Fresh in lap 21. Jacoden, Neojet in laps 20. AC3 Nightmare with is that a fresh ship destruction? Or maybe just a destruction minus comment. Jacoden just with the lap 21. He is 1 minute and 5 seconds behind Fresh as we currently stand. Gerbo the Gnome in 4th place with lap 20. Quelsar in lap 18 with 5th place. Mistrust in lap 17 with 6th place. 7th place is Vex Obscurum. 8th with Andrew Me6. We got 16 and 15 laps there. So we are kind of seeing those top 4. I think that's going to be the most competitive right now between Fresh, Jacoden, Neojet, and Gerbo, all within 1 lap of each other at 20 to 21. Quelsar coming in at 5th place, just outside there with lap number 18. We'll need to see that. Pull in a little bit.
Yeah, and Fresh and Jacoden are on the same Sanguis Luna team there too, so they're not. If they do end up by approaching each other, they shouldn't be fighting each other unless they have the win guaranteed. I don't see them actually shooting each other until like the last lap where everybody else might be a lap behind.
Yeah, and with the destruction of our camera operator, that was unfortunately Thunderwolf with the destruction there. We do have a ship destruction from Lens Nation happening off screen. Back into Oleg, keeping an eye on this Saber Raven. Now the Saber Raven not quite as speedy or maneuverable. It's got the sister ship now, the Saber Peregrine, that is a very aggressive and quick ship, but love folks to stick with the original here on the Raven with the EMPs. Weaving through those pylons. So comparing this to our turret class earlier today, do you feel like we've seen a lot more combat? Is it on par with, or I certainly noticed a lot more ship destructions happening. What are your thoughts?
I think there's a lot more. There's definitely a lot more ship destruction, but I think there's a lot of like quick combats that happen. That versus with the turret class, there was a lot more extended firing, and that might be because of obviously the turret can shoot backwards, and the hulls have more HP versus these little tiny, smaller ships.
Yeah, the maneuverability and the ability to avoid fire is a lot greater with these smaller ships, but I definitely see a lot more excitement happening when the combat does happen, and dying a little bit quicker.
Yeah, if somebody gets a good vehicle with the comment of the bloodiest race this year.
And we have a destruction
That's what
from
we like to
Bobbit.
hear.
Yeah, with the little keyholes having like you have to line up and get ready for that turn, leaves you vulnerable to anybody behind you and they'll just lay into you really quickly while you're just trying to go through it. So it definitely sets you up for a destruction if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, and we do have a did not finish from King OJ 2142, so marked as a DNF there on lap 7. That was like some issues there, and then a personal 30K just issued up for Mistrust. Mistrust representing here the Lens Nation Racing Team 2. Here we see AC3 Nightmare coming up behind Quelsar. Both great names within the racing community. Participants in our earlier race as well, so they have had a full day of going fast. Commander Tenna also with a ship destruction, both Saber Ravens suffering about the same time. Wonder if that is fuel related or if they have just taken the coincidental damage here. We do see Fresh with a pretty healthy lead that's continuing to grow. Lobby 2, he's ahead by 1 minute and 18 seconds. And we did just see AC3 Nightmare with a ship destruction and Junga Blunga with a ship destruction there. So Fresh just checking in for lap number 24. Fastest lap at 1:57. Still very consistent on a 2 minute, 2 second total lap time. Chakotay coming up hopefully here shortly. And Gerbo the Gnome in position number 4. He and Neojet trying to get a podium finish. Right now between them, there's a 25-second difference. It's really a battle between Lobby 2 versus Lobby 1 leads. Lobby 2 getting that first and second place, and then Lobby 1 third and fourth. Neojet and Gerbo the Gnome, just a 25-second difference between the two of them.
Yeah, something must have happened to Gerbo the Gnome recently, because last time I checked, Gerbo the Gnome was in third. So that's going to be an interesting little race that they have there going.
And yeah, a very slim margin separating them right now. And they've maintained, Quelsar still just about 2 laps behind that fourth place position, coming up third now, 1 lap behind on that. So making up some time. A ship destruction here at the wrong place in the track could make a difference, but I don't expect to see much of a change as we round down to 6.5 minutes left. We'll get 3-4 laps completed here, and we'll see what ends up happening as we reach that checkered flag.
Yeah, only 6 minutes left means that it could go anyway, but it's reducing the amount of people that can really fight for that the top 3 to top 5 spots. Yeah, it's not. We'll see if AC3 Nightmare gets another lap in there, and then they can get above laps completed over King Joe. Gets King Joe DNF with 7 laps finished, and AC3 Nightmare is on their 7th or 8th lap right now.
Yeah, and we are just in the last few minutes, last couple of laps. Our first 5 positions all seem pretty well set. 6th and 7th, we got Vex Obscurum. I say the first 6 positions are pretty safe where they're at. A 2-lap gap between Vex Obscurum and Andrew Me6 as they go in through position number 7 and beyond. I love these angles as they get through that tunnel, and of course getting in the way of some fire happening here. The Saber Raven making its presence known as it gets out of that keyhole, trying to take down AC3 Nightmare.
Landing some good hits there too.
And that's where the Raven is probably the bigger threat here. It's not its speed, but pretty solid weapons package with it, comparatively. See Commander Tenna, Bobbit Obaso, both right there, looking pretty close together. Pairing up against AC3 Nightmare, if AC3 can keep it out of the way or not. And of course, here Oleg right in the middle of the action, probably drawing a couple of projectiles himself. Great piloting the maneuver around the terrain hazards here.
AC3 doing a really good job at dodging all the shots and staying on track there.
And then we have a view of Fresh. Looks like that is lap number 26 completed. 2 minutes 6 seconds time there. Coming up just behind Jacoden, should be coming up very soon. Vex Obscurum. Vex completing lap number 21.
Yeah, not as many laps ahead of the turret division that I thought they would be by this time, but they are still doing pretty good because we got up to like lap 21 with the turret division. So
yeah, certainly more. I think our fastest times were in like about the 3-minute range. With this down at about a 2-minute and holding very consistently there, I think it's been that's kind of the main difference maker. We do see Lens Nation with a shift destruction. Of course, Lens Nation at 11th place with 11 laps. So struggling to get below that 3-minute lap time right now. And sadly, AC3 Nightmare also with a shift destruction. Just getting eaten alive. That was a 8th lap completed just a few minutes ago. We are down to the last 2.5 minutes of racing. We're going to get 2, maybe 3 laps out of the rest of these folks.
Neojet
Saber Ravens
destroyed too.
Oof. And there goes Oleg. Everyone's taking a chunk for themselves.
With Lens Nation getting ship destroyed, gives Bobbit the opportunity to overtake him here.
Yeah. Getting reset here. Vex Obscurum with a ship destruction coming in. Jacoden. We are currently running at 1:42 left. Lap number 27 checked in. That lap time was 2 minutes 4 seconds. And yeah, I think Fresh with just 1 minute 20 left. Pretty well locked in. Andrew Me6 we see up ahead here. Liz Cole with our backup cameras.
Within the 1 minute range now, we should be able to quite safely say that Fresh is going to set the white flag lap. So we'll see white flag called to set the final lap of the race very soon.
Yeah, Neko, correct me if I'm wrong, but since like Sagunis Luna is both first and second, they only win first place prize as a team because they are both a team, correct?
Yeah, so if your teammate
yep,
wins
so-
first place, yeah, that's where the place is.
Exactly, yeah. You both get it. It's a team effort. Just like we saw with Fresh having a crash at the start, Jacqueline carried the laps for their team, and now Fresh has clawed their way back. Impressive effort from everyone. So yeah, you win it for your team as well.
Yeah, and we are 15 seconds down to the last, so we will get the white flag called here in just a moment as Fresh completes his next lap. Really consistent at the 2 minute mark, so I think in about 20 or 30 seconds we should see that pass over. We see Commander Tenna and Bobbit Obaso both running in tandem here with the Saber Raven Owners Club Racing Group.
Enough to see them using the pack tactics in this race.
Yeah. Oh, and just aided on the side of an asteroid there.
White flag has been called, so it's the last lap. Once Fresh or whoever ends up by leading, given if Fresh doesn't crash, whenever they cross the line, that's the end of the race.
Yeah, so we will have Fresh is going to get his 29th lap to complete this. Jacoden should get a lap number 28. Gerbo at 26. Currently going up to 27 for this lap, as well as Neojet. Quillstar coming in, going to get probably the 24th lap. So,
yeah, Neojet and Gerbo fighting for that second place team placement right there. They seem to be only 30 seconds apart, so as long as Gerbo does a clean lap, they pretty much have that second place team. Right.
That Sire Racing team and some destruction there. I didn't see quite what happened. As we work through that, we'll start getting the checkered flag called and racers locked in. We are the minute 30 post white flag with FRESH001 that was up at the top. So, and AC3 Nightmare with lap number 9. Congratulations. Commander Tenna, something crashed into Tenna's rear. That's what we get the update there. So. Slightly robbed. Hey, as we watch the last couple of racers as they move across the track on their way in, we'll get a.
It's Jacqueline and Fresh coming around for the closing lap here. They should be coming around the corner any second. There they are.
There we go, and the
That'll
checkered
do it.
flag has been called. We'll let folks get those completed and get the official. But that is going to be Fresh and Jacoden, both from Team Sanguis Luna in Lobby 2, with the photo finish at the end. Fresh lap 29, Jacoden with lap 28. Sanguis Luna securing the team first position. So congratulations on your Aegis Saber Firebirds. Get out there and wreck some face. We got Gerbo the Gnome, Neojet, Quillstar that are all coming up still as well. Gerbo with Punch Gnomies, still trying to make sure he locks that in. But Neojet on the track as well. They are in the same lobby, so should be pretty close here. As we get the official checkered flag calls. See a couple. Oh,
Oh no,
that
not
corner
that.
a little
My
tight.
last
Commander
one.
Tenna just decided to get the photo finish at the end.
If they crash at any point in this, that is the end of their race. They can't rejoin and do another one.
All right, we've got Quelsar, who is locked in. That is 5th place for Quelsar. Gerbo the Gnome was out of fuel on the last turn. Oh no. So we'll see. That could open the way up for NeoJet as long as they're able to lock that in. But of course, Quelsar locking in at lap number 25 anyway. So just a call between 2nd and 3rd place. Terrible time to run out of fuel.
Yeah, for sure. Because if NeoJet finishes this puts his team up for that 2nd place finish.
Yeah, and that is the subscriber gear as well as the Skull Lounge chairs. So a little bit on there. We've got Vex Obscurum with the official completion. Lens Nation with a completion. NeoJet has moved up to lobby lead 1st place over there with that group. Andrew Meeseeks with the 4th place position.
Yeah, unfortunate for Gerbo, they just took a risk that didn't pay off. There wasn't quite enough fuel left in his tank to make it to the finish line. Literally 1 turn, apparently.
Yeah, quite the nail biter there. You can imagine going bingo fuel just at the most inopportune moment. We've got Commander Tenna, who has completed AC3 Nightmare with 6th place. And yeah, like just about everybody has been locked in. We're just looking for Mistrust, Jungapalunga, and Bobbit, who are completing their final laps as we lock everything in. But let's go ahead and we'll talk through what this finish looks like here. We had 29 laps today. 29 laps. With FRESH001 and Jacoden from Team Sanguis Luna taking 1st and 2nd place overall. Team finish for 1st. We had NeoJet coming in from Sire Racing Team that secured the 2nd place team finish. Supported there by Salem Frost, who I believe had a crash of desktop DNF. And yeah. We are getting confirmation. It looks like the race results are going to stand as they are listed. So Gerbo the Gnome and Quelsar, 4th and 5th individual places, but bringing up the 3rd place team finish. 6th place personal and 4th place team is Vex Obscurum. He's also joined by King OJ 2142, who had the DNF there. If you want to go ahead and continue on there from 7th place on.
Yeah, it looks it's Andrew, me, and 66 got 7th place for Lens Nation Racing 1, which brings them up to. I'm just trying to count because. Oh, there we go. Lens Nation Racing Team 1 and Mistrust 8th place for Lens Nation Racing Team 2. Both very good spots for those that team.
Yeah. Thank him. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to read out Commander Tenna's with the Saving Ravens Owner Club, bringing him to 9th place with 15 laps. Jung Plunga with Lens Nation Racing 1 at 10th place, and 11th place Lens Nation himself for Lens Nation Racing 2. And then Bobbit Goose. Or go ahead.
Yep. And we've got Bobbit Oboso from the Saber Raven Owners Club with 13 laps at 12th place. 13th place with AC3 Nightmare. Got 10 laps completed from Omega Aerosports. And 15th place there, Salem Frost with the Sire Racing Team. King OJ with the DNF on that 14th place position. Well, that was a fantastic race. 29 laps completed there from FRESH001. Let's talk about what FRESH001 gets from this, both from the bragging rights standpoint and the prizes. Echo, that you want to talk about the Scarlet Apex Anzia prize?
Oh yeah, so FRESH001, they came first in the Crux Cup 2954 they've come first in the Scarlet Apex 354. Congratulations to you and Jacqueline, who have won the Acrux Star for this year. I'm gonna try bring you in. Let's see if we can interview both you and Jacqueline. So bear with us for just a minute while we reach out to them.
Yeah. And obviously, thank you again for the race officials as we're getting ready for this interview. Everybody that was our race timers, our camera operators, a fantastic event. I think done very well within the Arena Commander lobbies here. So very, very smooth overall.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Fresh, Jacoden, how you guys doing?
Hey guys.
How does this how does this feel coming out on top of this and the bragging rights you guys have just earned?
I'll let you go first.
Yeah,
Rick.
well, well, it feels great. There was so much action in this race, so the heart is pumping still. But it's really cool that we got first and second. That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so at the end there, you guys did the photo finish. Of course, Fresh with the one lap ahead. Was there any coordination there as you guys were racing, helping each other out, or was it every man for themselves?
No, we did. There's obviously an element of coordination. I mean, this was a team race, right? So we needed to make sure that we had each other's backs. But yeah, both of us flew. I would say a pretty good race and a pretty safe race. Very minimal incidents. There was lots of action going. I mean, the PvP element just made it even more exhilarating. Honestly, I'm still kind of calming down the nerves after this.
Yeah. Was there any other racers out there that you feel like really had your number, you tried to avoid, or that you developed kind of an inter-race rivalry with?
Yeah, I mean, every time I came up to Vex Obscurum, I knew I had to pull some boost so I could get across him fast because, yeah, he had some shot for me.
Yeah, I agree. There was the Hornets and the Gladiuses. Every time you get close to them, you can see a missile lock already coming in. So lots of evasive actions happening there.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Do you have anything you want to ask him, Maverick, Echobit?
I got. Did you guys get caught up in any of the Saber Ravens at all during the race?
I think they were in a
were you-
different lobby there.
Oh, they were in the other lobby.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did your lobby struggle with some of the invisible asteroids? I know we talked about lobby 1 had some issues there, but did you notice that being a problem?
Yeah, we did. All minus element online lobbies do have the invisible asteroids. So we did train in the online lobbies, so we knew where they were. So we were prepared for it.
Yeah.
Amazing, and that preparation is just understated. Like the amount of time you, Fresh, and Jacqueline have put into this game and practice for this race really shows, and the result today is proof of that. And congratulations on earning the Acrux Star for this year, both of you earning that. Your incredible performance at Crux Cup this year, taking that first place in front of the Heralds, that is something I'll never forget. And then again proving yourselves in this incredibly challenging no checkpoint combat race around Miners Lament of all places. Absolute top achievement, so well done to both of you. My question to you is, if you had any advice to anyone that's getting into racing now, what advice would you give them?
Go on YouTube and look up Jacobin. He got some awesome videos.
Cheeky. I mean, that's a very vague question, honestly. But I think the very first thing is learn the ship. Because if you can't fly, you can't race. So first learn the ship, then learn the track, and then just send it.
I love it. So yeah, you can both check out their runs on scr.gg to learn from them, but you can also go to Jacqueline's YouTube channel, he does racing tutorials as well. So not only are they winners today, but they're also heroes of the community. So thank you both so much and congratulations on your win.
appreciate the shout out, and thank you so much for hosting this. This was fantastic. I mean, all the races in Scarlet Apex this year were top. So thank you so much for hosting.
Yeah, thank you. I love all the NCA races.
Thank you all.
It's so fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
We'd love
Appreciate it,
to
guys.
have you again, and we'll see you guys next time.
I have a question for you, Red. If you could participate in any of the 4 races, which one would you do, and what ship do you think you would take?
I gotta say, I would probably go in with the frigate class. I feel like that with the multi-crew turret situation. I'm torn. I could. I mean, the Redeemer and the Hammerhead are also great ships, but I would really love to get the Valkyrie out and use that to its fullest potential, especially with the weapon updates. You know, I'm partial to that ship. I know Lens Nation had their Valkyrie Liberator in our class, so I was glad to see that. I'd probably go out and represent with one of those, just since the Valkyrie is kind of it's become my favorite daily driver.
Nice.
But I also jump in here and say, like, for the frigate class, we also allowed the Argo Mall, so you're allowed 2 racing teams in these competitions. So maybe if I could impose on the Red Legion, bring a mall next year and be the Rock DS mall of the race, just for the hell of it, just for the fun of it.
We have toyed with the idea of a fully crewed mole combat experience, PvP type environment. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about how to adapt that into official ANZIA racing lexicon. So
Hell yeah, sounds good.
right. Did we have any other shout outs we wanted to get to today? I know we've got our finals. Thank you everybody who was out here to race. We got the headpads going on for Echo Bit here. We'll give a quick shout out for our...
Yes, so thank you. Yes.
Go right ahead.
You go ahead, Rin.
But I guess I will do shout outs for our crew. Of course, Fedicall and Noisemaze, who were our race directors. Draconis and Feifei, our race timers. Our checkpoint officers, LNDF, Nox Vardine, as well as our camera operators, giving us those great views throughout the entire day. HMS Thunderwolf and Oleg Lime. Canadian Maverick, as well for co-hosting here. All of our racers, Echo Bit for helping put together the event. Yeah, what have you guys got to add there?
Thanks, Red
And
Monster,
thank
for
you
coming.
to CIG for yeah, exactly. Thank you both, Red Monster and Canadian Maverick, for supporting these races, and CIG for building an incredible space game. Without you guys and CIG, none of this is possible. So thank you to all the racers, our event staff, and our viewers watching this and witnessing the achievements of these incredible races and combat races at that. So yeah, thank you all for being here. We love you very much, and is it race day next? See you guys next time at the next race, which is Ignition Expo. I will be collaborating with XGR on that, so look out for that next week. Alright, goodbye. Good to see you all.
Gosta de fazer orgia, essa novinha que tá na volanda. Gosta de fazer orgia, você tá em cima da piroca, 24 horas por dia. Você delicada por cima da vida. Essa novinha que tá na volanda, gosta de fazer orgia, fica sentando em